This is Movietone. Geoffrey Sumner reporting. Arriving at Falkirk High Station, the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh begin their tour of East Stirlingshire and West Lothian. Sir Ian Bolton, Lord Lieutenant of Stirlingshire, was the first to greet them. They crossed the railway bridge to their waiting cars for the journey to the Municipal Buildings, where Provost Watson was waiting to receive them. They were given a great ovation from the crowds. The Queen then inspected a guard of honour mounted by the Argyll and Sutherland Highlanders. She is their Colonel-in-Chief. A full schedule allowed for only half an hour in Falkirk, and all too soon, Provost Watson was wishing them Godspeed. People lining the royal route echoed his farewell as they cheered the royal visitors on their way. Grangemouth was the next stop, and here the crowds were given an unexpected surprise when Her Majesty and the Duke appeared on the balcony of the municipal chambers. The stay in Grangemouth could not continue long either, but the crowds made up for it by cheering themselves hoarse. Now to West Lothian and the town of Linlithgow. After a number of presentations, Her Majesty and the Duke walked up the narrow Kirk Gate towards the palace. The Provost, the Lord Lieutenant and Sheriff Sir James Gilchrist accompanied them. Members of the Queen's bodyguard, the Royal Company of Archers, provided an escort. Mary Queen of Scots, one of Her Majesty's ancestors, was born within these walls. Incidentally, Her Majesty is the first reigning queen to visit this palace for 400 years. In its heyday, it was the favourite residence of the Stuart kings. The visit to Whitburn later that afternoon coincided with the Miners' Gala. Provost Griffiths presented 11-year-old Sandra Wood, the Gala Queen. They had a chat together, and the young Gala Queen showed herself perfectly at ease when talking to a real-life sovereign. Against a background of the Forth Bridge, the tour drew to a close at South Queensferry. Her Majesty then met another monarch, when Provost Lawson presented 15-year-old Caroline Diggins, the borough's newly crowned Ferry Queen. So another tour was over, after some 50 miles and 6.5 hours, during which time thousands of people had seen Her Majesty and the Duke. Through towns, villages and small country hamlets, where a visit from the sovereign is made even more welcome by its rarity. It had been a triumphant progress all the way. Now back to Edinburgh, where the mass pipe bands march onto the forecourt of the Palace of Holyrood House to celebrate the visit of Her Majesty and the Duke. The royal couple spent some time watching the programme, which is the first of its kind to be held since Her Majesty's coronation. The custom began during the reign of the late King. Afterwards, the Queen and His Royal Highness came out to the platform where the dancers were presented. These concerts at Holyrood House are unique in the life of the royal family. They're an occasion for the audience to share enjoyment with their sovereign, and in doing so, to express their loyalty and affection for her. A visit to Fettes College was another royal engagement in Edinburgh. They were received by the Chairman of Directors, Lord Hill Watson, and the Headmaster, Mr. Crichton-Miller. The Queen's arrival at this famous Scottish school was the signal for 3 cheers for the royal visitors from the boys. Presently, attended by Hector Cursop, the head boy, they inspected the college grounds. And when the time came for departure, an escort of 6 pupils mounted on ponies preceded the royal car.